Hey guys, my name is Scott, and this is a new channel where I start reviewing horror movies. So bear with me while I get the format and everything figured out. Today I was going to be starting off with a movie I just watched the other day called Death of a Unicorn. Now, Death of a Unicorn was released by A24 in 2025, so just a couple months ago. And it's a decent attempt at a monster movie with some comedy elements thrown in, but honestly, I think it falls flat with some fairly weak writing and directing that just leaves you unsatisfied. While it can be suspenseful and fun, often than not, it just leaves you wanting more. So it's set in Canada. We see the main characters, Elliot, played by Paul Rudd, and Riley, who's played by Jenna Ortega. We see them arrive in an airport where there seems to be a dynamic off in their relationship. They just seem to be kind of clashing and not really getting along. It turns out that they're there because Elliot is meeting with some clients to finalize a business contract. He's a lawyer and was asked to bring his daughter along because they wanted his daughter there so they could see what kind of a family they have. I don't know. It was kind of weird. Anyways, so she's obviously not excited to go, and they begin arguing in the car ride where he just wants her to be normal, and she's like, "Oh, I'm not normal." So typical teenage stuff. So they begin having an argument, and then Elliot receives a phone call from the clients wondering where they are, and then he starts speeding recklessly because, why wouldn't you on some random back roads and a mountain? And next thing you know, a large animal crosses the car, they hit it, and when they get out of the car to go check it out, sure enough, it's a unicorn. Of course, they don't realize that at first. They're just like, what is this strange animal? So then Riley goes to check out the animal, and when she goes to touch its horn, she starts getting these weird, like, psychedelic, cosmic visions. And before long, Paul Rudd just bludgeons the crap out of it and kills it with a tire iron. And they throw it in the car, and they keep on trucking. So they arrive at the mansion where they go to spend the weekend, and they run into the family that's hosting. Husband Odell, who's played by Richard Grant, wife Belinda, who's played by Tia Leone, who I can only think of her as the annoying wife from Jurassic Park 3 that's screaming every 5 minutes, and son Shepard, who's played by Will Poulter. Poulter? I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Who I always just also know is from the meme, wait, you guys are getting paid? Um, so it's cool to see him all grown up, I guess. Where they begin talking about their business, finalizing the contracts and whatnot. And Riley is in horror of the events going on. She goes to wash her face in the bathroom, and then that's when she realizes that her acne is gone. That, I don't know, she was unhappy about, I guess. Anyways, so next thing you know, there's a bunch of noise coming from the car. The unicorn's coming back to life, and it breaks out of the car. And one of Odell's helpers, butlers, maid, whatever she is, happens to have a gun on her. So she just pops it in the head and takes care of it. So now the five of them are in possession of a unicorn. And as they're trying to wrap their minds around what it is, that's when they start to notice that Jenna Ortega's character, her acne is gone. And when Paul Rudd was beating the crap out of it, he got some of it in his eyes, and he no longer needs his glasses. So next thing you know, they're trying to figure out what to do with the dead unicorn and what's healing properties. And the dynamic of the plot is pretty much them trying to figure out what to do about it. And I don't want to spoil anything else after that. So, my major problem with the movies really begins with how paper thin the characters are, and the lack of any real character growth in the story. Elliot shows the only bit of growth really in the movie, but the growth is money is all that matters to money isn't that important, which is incredibly underwhelming. Like his whole characters is about his whole character is about how his wife passed away, and he's trying to take care of his daughter. And yeah, I don't know, it's pretty weak. Now, the greed of the wealthy family is comically excessive to the point where they just start ignoring all logic and act as recklessly and selfishly as possible. And it's just, it's overboard. Like, you can have these pharmaceutical CEOs or whatever they are be a little, yeah. Another issue I have is with Paul Rudd's character. Typically, I find him fairly funny in whatever I see him in, but in this movie, everything just kind of falls flat. I mean, it kind of just made me not believe I was watching him act. It was just, well, I was watching Paul Rudd just thrown into this movie with a big enough paycheck. I don't know. It was not great. The majority of the humor in the movie is pretty bad, but Will Poulter is certainly the exception. He cracks me up in so many scenes. I had to laugh out loud at a couple scenes, and he was just a delight, honestly, to watch. Also, there's an electromagnetic detector they use at one point that looks and sounds exactly like the motion tracker from Aliens, to the point that it just feels blatantly ripped off. What's up with that? I mean, at least change the sound a little bit, maybe make the design look a little less like Aliens. Whatever, that's a small point. Redeeming the movie, however, is some fantastic sound design. As the unicorn, the sound is wonderful. It sounds intimidating. It sounds big, big bassy footsteps as it's going. The mansion is a beautiful locale. It's some donated preserve, but it's a very interesting location to have a horror movie, and the mountains are just a beautiful backdrop for the scene. Gore is not shy in this movie. As the unicorn rips people apart, it throws them around, and the action is quick and suspenseful. Surprisingly, the highlight of this movie for me was Jenna Ortega. Going into the movie, I was kind of rolling my eyes like, oh, here we go. Jenna Ortega is playing another angsty teenager. But her delivery and acting in this movie was great, and really opened my eyes to her range. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else she does in the near future. So, while suspenseful and occasionally fun, the characters are weak, and the message is fairly simple with a predictable plot. So, saving the day is Jenna Ortega and Will Poulter, rounding out the dynamics of, emotion and comedy, while everyone else just simply makes you wish they had less time on screen. Is Death of a Unicorn the worst movie I've ever seen? Of course not, but I don't think I'll be rewatching it anytime soon, because it's like, why? There's so many other better movies you could watch with your time. So that's when I give it a 6 out of 10. And yeah, I'll be reviewing another movie coming up soon. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please drop a like. If you want to see more, stay in the loop, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.